We talk about our social experiments with Vero and Instagram. We talk about a new shortcut that converts a 48 megapixel Pro RAW file from the iPhone 14 Pro series to a HEIF, whatever you want to call it. Dave talks about a time-lapse video that he actually did without dropping his phone. And we have a whole pile of more things to talk about right here on the iPhoneography podcast. Hello, everyone. I'm Greg McMillan, and I'm joined by my esteemed co-host and lifesaver, Mr. Dave Podner. Hello, Dave.
Hey, Greg, how's it going tonight?
Oh, it's going a lot better now. You know, folks, I've always said, what would I do without Dave? And this is no exception because I had just started my, introductory rant or whatever, or starting the show. And Dave reminded me that I didn't hit the record button. So that's not the first time it's happened. It probably won't be the last, but thank you, Dave.
Yeah, but thankfully we were only a couple minutes into the show, so we didn't have to do major re-recording like other times.
Yeah, for sure. And what reminded Dave that I didn't hit the record button was I was saying that I hope this show makes it to air. And that's what triggered it in his mind, because the reason I said that is because I updated my Mac to Mac OS Ventura that just came out today. But I had heard from, a very reliable source that it was solid. It was good. Things like Audio Hijack are working fine on it. We're not using that to record this, but knowing that something like that is compatible with it, I thought, you know what? I'm going to go for it because I want Stage Manager, which is a feature of macOS Ventura that it's going to be on iPad OS 16 or whatever. And it's a really, really cool thing. So look it up. But anyway, so how's it going, Dave?
Doing good.
Good. You have been enjoying some nice weather as I have here, eh?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we've been exceptionally lucky this far into October and enjoying leaving windows open.
Yes.
And bright sunshine and things we're not used to.
Yeah, I swear
shorts
you guys
weather,
have the
shorts
same
weather.
Forecast we do.
Yeah, it's actually shorts weather, which is kind of crazy.
I was outside this morning at 11 o'clock, about 11 o'clock, maybe a little before that, cutting my lawn with shorts on. And it was just lovely. And I don't know, you just can't beat this weather. And so we're just embracing it while it's here.
Mm-hmm. Because I don't know how this affects the colors, the color changing in terms of, because we haven't lost, honestly, we have not lost that many leaves. Like I look on my lawn,
I think it prolongs it.
Yeah, I look on the lawn and we do not have like a ton of leaves that I have to deal with.
Yeah.
So I'm letting them there.
Mm-hmm.
I do not bag my leaves. I have a mulching mower.
Yep.
So I just kind of wait for all the leaves to go and just kind of do the last grass cut of the year and mulch it up and take care of it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully that extends it out because that way you get a chance to enjoy the bright color of the fall at first until you get white everywhere.
Yeah, the dreaded white stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think the colors here up in where I am, just a couple hours north of Toronto, they're still out there. There's still lots of leaves. Like some of the trees are losing them, but the brilliant bright colors are pretty much gone now. It's all mostly yellows and browns. And so, I mean, if we get a really good windy day, those leaves are going to be probably gone. So I think my fall shooting has pretty much come to an end. I got a few more today, but I'm not looking to get any more, fantastic fall photos. So, it's just too short of a season, the colorful season. So, on that note, stay tuned for a YouTube video that I'm putting together, with all the fall colors that I've done for this year. And so far, I think I have 75 pictures selected to go in this video. It's just going to be a video slideshow. So I'm going to put that together and get it up on YouTube, and I'll tweet about it and probably put a link in next week's show notes or whatever, or the next episode show notes. So I just love this time of year. It's too short. So we are going to talk about a social experiment that I kind of got this idea maybe from a YouTuber somewhere, um, where what I did was I took 3 photos and I posted them on Instagram, and then I posted them on Vero pretty much at the same time, like one right after another. And then I gave it 24 hours and I looked at the number of likes. Now, likes don't mean anything to me. I mean, I love that people like my photos, but I don't go for likes. I don't try to get likes. I just, if I don't get any, it doesn't really bother me. I'm not too concerned about it, but I wanted to kind of look at these numbers and see how they compared from Instagram and Vero. And on Instagram, I have 952 followers. On Vero, I have 333 followers. And those 3 images, the combined number of likes on Instagram was 16. That's from 952 people.
Wow.
On Vero, from 333 people, 56 likes. So, I mean, I didn't bother to do the math to figure out what the percentages are here, but it just goes to show you that, like, I'm not a big video person for throwing up stories or reels or whatever they are. But as a photographer wanting to share my images on a social platform, Instagram has ruined it. We all know hashtag Instagram sucks. And Vero is killing it because the people that follow me are seeing my images. They're not seeing what's been shoved down their throats by an algorithm. So I thought that was an interesting thing. And Dave, you did a little bit of a comparison yourself, right?
Yeah. So on Vero, I have 16 followers.
Because you're fairly new at it.
Yeah. Yeah. I tend to post. I mean, I tried to post, but I don't post on Vero as much as I do Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because a lot of Instagram stuff will be some memes, some
You put
stories for
stories
temporary
on,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where Vero, I tend to want to leave the better stuff. I don't want to say the better stuff, but the better photography stuff, not just, hey, here's something interesting, but here's a really good picture.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I know what we were talking a little bit earlier. I have 3 connections and 13 followers. So I think that's where it comes out to 16
Oh, right.
for
Yes.
the
Yeah.
reach,
Mm-hmm.
So I did the last 5 outside of today. And on Vero, of the 16 reach I have like 11, 3, 7, 9, 18, and another 18, which, given I only have the reach of 16, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. Really good.
Yeah. For Instagram, now I understand probably half or more of my followers are probably bots. If you're a
Yeah.
follower on Instagram, hi.
Yep.
You're a real person, but you look at you look at some of the followers, and obviously they are, you know, they're bots, or they're people who
There
work
could be people
for,
following you just hoping you'll follow them back
yeah,
or
or
something.
they're, um, like I said, some of these are like, I post pictures of our dog and I get a follow from a Westie thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're all their Instagram's 100% Westie related, and I have
Mm-hmm.
like one or two. I have a few photos, or more than a few, but yeah, my, like, on Instagram, I have 369 followers, and my like counts are like 8, 5, 3, 4, 5,
Mm-hmm.
15. So
Yeah.
they're all pretty much. Let me just double check here. Except for one photo, they're all less than Vero. And my reaches should be significantly higher.
Yeah. Like your
forget about my
reach count
likes, just
on
my
Vero
reach.
is like 5% of what it is on Instagram.
Yeah. Yes.
But yet you're
So I should
matching
be
or
seeing a
beating.
whole lot more. Yeah. So I'm actually
Yeah.
hitting people who are actually seeing it and reacting to it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that is
So,
incredible. Now, I did not do a comparison with Glass. Um, I probably will do that just to see what it's going to be like, because Glass is a paid platform, and I don't know how many people are on there, but I do know it's doing quite well for itself. Um, since they started out, and especially since they've started Glass Anywhere, where Android users can go on, you can just go on from the web and all this stuff, and so it'll be interesting. I'll try to look up the same pictures. I'm pretty sure I posted them on Glass as well, and I should have included that in this little experiment here. But um, I'll do that little experiment, and if I remember, knocking on my noggin here, I'll try to give an update at the next episode. So uh, very interesting.
mhm.
Just a very interesting thing. So I don't know, anything to add about that, Dave, before we move on?
Not really. I mean, it's all partially. It's a matter of where you post is what you want to get out of your account.
Yeah.
If you're someone who, if it's a business related, Instagram's definitely where you want to be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because you're gonna possibly pay for advertising or whatever, right? I
Exactly,
mean,
exactly.
yeah,
Or you just have a chance for, because Instagram and Facebook and Twitter are your three big platforms. Everyone's heard of them.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, so if you're in business or if you have something you want to promote far and wide and don't really care about, I mean, you can get great community, but if you're just trying to blast it out, and in fact, one of the photos I have here, even though, like I said, I have 363 followers, I had 72 accounts reached and 15 likes.
wow.
So of my followers, it's only hitting 20%.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, we're not talking, I think a lot of my follower, a lot of those followers aren't necessarily heavy people related, but still, it's one of those things that where you post and what you post. If you just want to get information out there, or if you just want to say, hey, here's a really neat photo I took and people may be interested, as long as it's not a lot of time, I say try to hit everything, but just keep in mind when you try to hit things, what may or may not, or I shouldn't say what, how it's going to get hit, and keep things in mind that, like I said, Instagram, you're you're not, unless you're a big account already, you may not get the splash that you're interested in, or
Yeah, yeah.
it is an endorphin hit. I have to admit, it's an endorphin hit. If you, a couple times I posted some reels and they went a little crazy,
Mm-hmm.
10,000 views,
Yeah,
it's an endorphin. It's like, wow,
yeah, yeah,
it's literally, and kids, ask your parents or grandparents, Sally Fields, you like me, you
yeah,
really, really like me,
yeah, yeah,
because it does hurt, depending on, at least for me, if I do something and I'm like, oh, I just happened to and this is a great photo and I love the thing and this is just so great, and you put it out there and you get two people who like it,
yeah, yeah.
and you're like, am I seeing, am I wrong?
Now that blue caddy better got lot more than 2 likes. I could tell you that. That's that one that we
Yeah.
talked about a couple of shows ago. I thought was just freaking amazing. Um, but yeah, I mean it's an interesting thing. If you
Oh yeah.
ever if you're on both platforms, or even all three, if you want to include Glass, uh, check out the numbers and see which one's doing the best for you. Um, you know, I think the only reason I keep Instagram going is because my book, whenever it comes out, has QR codes in it that point to certain posts. And if I could find a way to change that and keep those same codes in the book and point them somewhere else, I I could very easily just drop Instagram, just because I mean, but at the same time, I kind of hate to because I know so many people on there, and I love the interaction when there is some with those people. So I don't know. It's still torn about it, but
Oh yeah, like I said, and it seems, and people may have feel this or not, but Instagram's. I know they came out and said we're focusing less on photos, which I understand. They got to follow the money.
yeah.
It's a for-profit company. Companies got to make profits, and they think they can get better with reels, and they do that because of advertising. By the way, I just happened to look up the photo of the old car, the blue
Hmm.
one, 8
Yeah.
likes.
On Instagram.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. 65 reach, 8 likes.
Come on, people, look it up. It's worth it. Well, just to close this off, I would like to say that there was an interview on the name of the podcast escapes me, but I'm going to link to it in the show notes. It's Richard Barnaby, who's a photographer, does a podcast. I think it's Life Beyond the Lens or something like that. I'm not 100% sure on the title, but um, Richard, if you're listening by chance, I'm sorry, but I will put the link in the show notes. But he interviewed um, the name. Anyway, he interviewed the guy who started Vero, and it is a very, very good interview. He talks about how Vero got started and all this stuff. And one thing that I will spoil about that interview is the fact that to this day it's still free to join. When it first started, the first 1 million people were going to have free memberships for life. To this day, it's still that way. If you're not on Vero and you want to get on Vero, join up. And because at some point, he doesn't know when it's going to be. He has no idea when it will be, but he will start charging a subscription for membership. But if you get in when it's free for life. And this guy's got all kinds of money, and he has been funding this thing. I don't know if he uses any venture capitalism or whatever. I don't think so, but it is a really good platform. It's nice. It's to me, Vero and Glass is like Facebook and Instagram, but without the junk, the ads, the algorithms, without all that stuff. Vero is a great place to share links to whatever. Like I've started putting links up for these podcasts, and I'll link to a news story about photography or something. Basically, anything I do online is all about photography. That's pretty much the only reason I'm there. Mm-hmm. So I'll link to that interview in the show notes and give it a listen if you want it. If you want to know more about Vero, you might as well hear it right from the guy that started it and runs it. So, okay, now just a quick little mention before I hand it over to Dave about what he wants to talk about. If you have an iPhone 14 Pro or Pro Max and you shoot a 48 megapixel Pro RAW file, I found a shortcut that I'll link to in the show notes that it'll be in the share sheet. So if you have a 48 megapixel Pro RAW image up that's like 50, 60, 70, 80 megabytes in size, there is a shortcut that when you go to the share sheet and hit that shortcut, it turns it into a HEIF file where it could go from like 50 megabytes down to 5, and you can either save or delete the original Pro RAW file. So the new file will still have Apple's, magic sauce on it, but it'll take up a lot less space on your iPhone. So that's going to be pretty handy for people who want to shoot those 48 megapixel images. Halide, Camera Plus, I think, and Camera M, and maybe Pro Camera, I think, are some of the apps that can shoot a 48 megapixel JPEG. So, there's that to consider. But if you're just going to use the Apple camera and you want to shoot these files, you can switch them real quick and dump the big one if you want, or you can keep it. And it's a great little shortcut. So check out the show notes for that shortcut. You can download it. I've got it. It's safe. Some people are a little leery about adding shortcuts that people write, but it works fine. And it's a good way to save space on your camera roll. So, all right. Okay, Dave, you posted a really, really cool thing today. So let's hear about that.
Yep. And it was just one of those nights where it was a beautiful, clear night, just a little bit of clouds. And I figured, well, you know what? It's not because of we were talking, it's fall, meaning that sunset happens a whole lot sooner, some sooner than others, depending on how far north you are. But it was like, well, it's starting to get dark at 6:30 here. So it's like, hey, instead of me waiting till 8:39, like you would in the summer, I'll try some time lapse. And we've had luck with some sunsets that were just absolutely gorgeous. Tonight was nice. It wasn't blow your mind nice though. So I decided
it had some color.
Oh yeah. So I decided to set up a time lapse for sunset. Now, like I said, as I've said before, our bedroom windows, our front windows face directly west. So you see the sunset directly there. We're halfway up a hill, so you can see like the top of the houses across and then the sky. So it's absolutely perfect for a sunset pic.
Mm-hmm.
I was much careful this time. Where before when the phone fell out of the thing, I used a different window where there's bushes underneath it, not concrete.
Right.
And it's a good 4 feet closer the ground. It'd still be a good 10-foot drop, but it's 10-foot drop onto bushes and not a 10-foot drop, not a 15-foot drop onto concrete.
Right. Yeah.
So had the window open. I propped it using the screen. So I wasn't shooting through anything. I was careful to make sure because, of course, open window cat tends to like open windows.
Yeah. I
made sure there were any cats that would accidentally jump in the window and knock things off or close things or have any issues. Now, the built-in time lapse has no controls.
No.
You just hit start. You keep it stable. That's why I kind of wedged it in the window. Tripod would work also very good, but I just had the window there.
You can still lock focus and exposure though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So basically all time lapse is doing is taking a photo every so often and then making a video out of it. But I know there are apps out there where you can say, well, take a photo every so many seconds or so many minutes, or you don't have that option. So you hit the button and there's a little rotating dial and it's like shot. And it just puts it together. I let this thing go for an hour and the video came out to 33 seconds.
Yep.
So if you're thinking about doing a time lapse and you're thinking, I can let this here for 10 minutes. Well, if you're doing it for 10 minutes, it's going to turn out to a 5-second video.
Do you know how that works, Dave?
You mean in terms of
how it builds the time lapse? Because the geek in me found out.
Okay. I haven't, like I said, I had an idea that now when you set it up, it looks like it's doing it as a video because it's the video widescreen. It's not a it's not a 4:3. It's a 16:9, which I know Apple has when you shoot video. Yeah. So I imagine you're just kind of having very similar to a video, and it's just every so often.
And I believe it's video resolution too, right? Like it's HD resolution. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not as good.
What it's doing, and I found this out not too long ago, really, is as the time lapse is building, it's going to drop frames to keep the time lapse shorter in duration when you're watching it back. So if you now there's a series of there's a series of levels, I guess you could say, as to how many frames get dropped out based on how long you're recording. So you recorded for an hour and it gave you a 30-second video. I think the time lapse feature in the iPhone in the Apple camera app like that maxes out at like 40 seconds, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so it would
So
just
what
drop
it's going to
more
do
then.
is it's going to drop frames. Like it's going to keep every frame up until a certain time, like so many minutes. And then from that time to say 5 minutes after that, in that next time slot, it's going to drop so many frames. And then as you go longer, it's going to drop more and more frames. I don't know if I have a a note in my notes app that talks about this. If I do, I'll see if I could find where I found that. But anyway, I thought that was interesting because um, if you want to do a time lapse and not lose any frames, then you pretty much have to use an app that's special for that. Like I think maybe the Moment app might do it. Filmic Pro would probably do it. You know, some of these apps that would do video could probably give you an actual true time lapse. And the funny thing is, Dave, is back when I had my iPhone, I think it might have been my 4S. I did a time lapse of the Canada Day fireworks, which lasted about 20 minutes. And it gave me a 3-minute video. So I don't think they were dropping frames back then. I think this is something that's started, I don't know when, but I don't know. It's weird. But now they're definitely dropping frames, because if you went for an hour and only got a 30-second video, you got gypped.
Well, no, because I just looked at something on now this is Apple Community, so this is an official Apple. And this is from 2019, but it says it will condense it down to around 20 to 40 seconds regardless of how long you took the video. So if you do it for less than 10 minutes, your capture frame is 2 frames per second. If it's after 10, it goes to 1. And after 40 minutes, 80 minutes, keep on going, keep on going, keep on going.
Yeah.
So that's what was, I think that's what happened there.
I think you just found where I read this.
Yeah.
I think it might have been in a community post on Apple.
Yeah. So Apple's trying to, this is again, Apple saying, we want the output to be around 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Give or take 30 seconds, and like you said, regardless of how long you're actually doing the video for. So we'll just chop it up depending on what you're doing and then massage it afterwards.
Yeah.
Now I also did it because I wanted a little bit more. I wanted more shown. I did it on the ultra wide lens.
Okay.
So it looked good in the beginning. I think it wasn't too grainy. I didn't do editing when I put it up. So you can see like people coming home, cars moving.
Yeah.
It just starting to get dark. Some of the clouds as the sun's going down. But when the sun actually does go down, like around a third of the way through, it really starts to get grainy. And I think that's the 0.5 versus the 1x.
Yeah, definitely that will do it. Yeah.
Because if you notice at the very last last 3 or 4 seconds, because that was I stopped it at 7:30 at night. So I looked outside. To my naked eye, it was dark.
Yeah, yeah.
But the camera was still picking up blue sky.
Yeah,
even though the sky, it was still blue. But when I looked outside, it was dark enough you couldn't read, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
Because sunset is, like I said, it's 7 o'clock or so. So by the time it was there, and the neat thing is you can see the flashes as people are driving up and down the street too.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just barely hitting it.
I noticed that when those people across the street got home, it was really cool because they got home. You could tell they were jumping out of the car, and then the lights went on in the house, and then like it all happened so fast. It was kind of neat. But yeah, it's an interesting thing to play with, the time lapse feature. And I mean, if you are okay with a 30 to 40-second video max, by all means, use the Apple Camera app.
Yeah.
It works just fine. But if you want to go a lot longer than that, with a true time lapse, then you better look at something else.
Hmm.
And I'm pretty sure Filmic Pro does it. One of these apps that has like a, I don't know what they call it, an intervalometer or something in it, where
Okay.
you could set your number of frames, all that stuff. So
Then I would
now,
also say make sure you don't need your phone either,
yeah, put it on
because
do not disturb or airplane mode or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
So where have you posted that? So
I tried to post it everywhere. So
okay,
I did it. I did it on Vero. Um, I can't. I don't. The thing is, Vero, because even though it's a video, it doesn't show how many views I've had.
yeah,
Um,
that's the algorithm thing that they
yeah,
stay away from, right?
right. I did post. I didn't post it on Twitter. I didn't post it there. I did it as a reel on Facebook, and I did it around an hour ago.
Is it on
So
Instagram?
yeah. So on
Okay.
Facebook, I had one. No, your comment. Yep, your comment. And 32 views.
Hmm.
On Instagram, like I said, a little experiment here. 4 views.
Wow.
Yeah. And I also posted it on TikTok and 11
Hmm. Crazy, eh?
and 1 like.
Yeah. Well, I'll put a link for Instagram because I can find it there,
Yeah.
and Vero. And your links to TikTok and Twitter and all that stuff are in the show notes anyway. So
Yeah.
people can go and look you up and look at your feed and find that video and have a look at it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I thought it was really good. And I forgot about you dropping your phone in the last attempt.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And
uh, good thing is I didn't this time.
yeah, well, I mean, it just goes to show you how robust the iPhone is and how well your case worked when
True.
it went flying out the window. So, all right. Okay, okay. One real quick thing here before we go to our recent photos, and that is, I saw a tweet by Halide shortly before we come on the air here tonight, and uh, they have a shirt that it shows the halide camera in a kind of like in an exploded view. So all the different lens elements and all this stuff. And it's a really cool looking shirt. And they said that retweet this for a chance to win this shirt. So I retweeted it. And then I thought, you know what? The chances of me winning are not ever very good. So I responded to the tweet and I said, if I don't win this, where can I get one? Where and when can I buy it? And they responded with a link. And I'll put the link in the show notes. And it's $40 US. You can get just a regular t-shirt. You can get like I'm getting one that's, what do they call it? Anyway, I've got, midlife midriff. I'm not afraid to say. And so I'm getting a little bigger build of a shirt. Like
Oh,
it's a
okay.
little
Yeah, they do
bigger.
have the what they call heavyweight tee. I have it open now.
Yeah.
Heavyweight tee,
Yeah.
classic oversized fit.
Yeah. That's the one I'm ordering
Okay,
just
and they do
because
have
I
that in
want
the
it to fit
blue
good.
and the black.
Yeah. But they also have like hoodies, tank tops. There's different
Oh, yeah,
kinds that you can get.
sweatshirt, or for your favorite little one, they got a onesie.
Yeah. There you go. So here's the thing. I'm getting one anyway.
Ooh.
But if I win the one that they're giving away, I'm going to pay it forward by having a giveaway on the podcast. So if I win, that'll be coming up, sometime in the future. Whenever, if I win it and whenever I get it, that's when we'll do a giveaway of some sort and ship it out to somebody. So we'll sort out that if that ever happens. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Oh, and one positive is they do not charge extra for larger sizes.
Oh, good.
So going from, let's say for the standard tee, they go from small to 3X, and they're all $40 US.
Yeah, I think, yeah. And I didn't
and
look
the
at
heavyweight goes all the way up to 5X.
yeah, and it's still $40.
It's still $40, which is so nice because so many times you get above 1X or maybe sometimes beyond 2X, and it goes from $40 to $50. And I'm like, there is definitely not $10 worth more of fabric on this thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It didn't need an extra South 40 of cotton to
that's right.
to grow and pick just for that little extra couple inches there.
So just for kicks, Dave, real quick, since you got it there, you still got it up there?
Yep.
What's the hoodie? What's it go for?
Okay, so the sweatshirt 55.
Okay.
Now they're already it looks like out of large 2X and 5X.
Oh, really?
In black. Now the royal blue, they have it all.
Okay.
And now they have both a pullover hoodie and a pullover crew neck. So that's more like a sweatshirt.
Yeah, yeah.
And that they're out of extra large in the black, which I know extra large is a really popular size.
Yeah, yeah,
because if you are someone who would normally wear a large, you get the extra large just because you want a little extra room.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a little bit bigger, you maybe need the extra large.
Yep.
And now, admittedly, this was years ago, like 3 decades. But I remember when I was in college, a lot of the young women wore the extra large shirts because they were oversized.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and of course, someone at the time, well, I think I wore closer to 2X, but I was 1X, 2X. And it was like, I'm happy you're buying shirts and you like them, but you're taking up all the sizes I need.
Yeah.
Because me going up to a 3 would just look sloppy. So I needed the 1 and 2X size, and it was gone.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, no, please. Please leave it for some of us who need it.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
But that is cool. It is a cool shirt. It is a cool looking shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll put a link to that place where you could buy them. I'll put that in the show notes. But I mean, hey, if you want to buy one, go ahead, but just maybe want to hold off and see if we have one to give away. And hopefully we can get the size sorted out before they send it. All the logistics will be sorted out if I happen to win the bloody shirt. If I don't win it, well, so be it. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there before we get on to our recent photos. So, all right. Now, where did I put them? Here they are. So our recent photos, I don't know about you, Dave, but I have been taking so many fall photos that I had a hard time figuring out what I was going to put out here. So I also want to say, if you're listening, don't forget, these images will appear on your iPhone or your iPhone screen on your podcast app, Overcast, Pocket Cast. It does not work on Spotify. Sorry, that's not my fault. It's just that they don't show an enhanced version of the podcast. But there's a few different apps that do it. But if you can't see the images, go to the website for the post about this show. It's at iPhoneography.ca. There'll be a link in the show notes, and you'll be able to see the images that Dave and I are about to talk about. Because I got some pretty good feedback about, why show images when it's an audio show, and this person was using Spotify, so they couldn't see. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, geez, you know what? Maybe we should just put them someplace where everybody can see them. So I'm going to, when I put a post on the website for these episodes, they're going to include the images that we talk about in our recent photos. So there you have it. If you can't see it, check out the link, and it should be pretty close to the top of the notes. So, all right. Okay. Well, let's go back and forth here, Dave. So
okay.
We'll let you do the first one.
Okay. let me open that up on my side here. So this was taken during an evening run. And the way the sun just hit the hill, but not the direct foreground. I just like the way that, and again, this is one of those weird, perfectly blue skies that we
Yeah.
don't really get that often here, but it happens. But I just like the way the sun just hit right at the base of the hill and up. But
Yeah.
further
So
down in the
just for
foreground,
those
it did not show.
who can't see it just yet, it's a street scene where the houses in the foreground are not lit by the sun, but then in the background there's these trees that go up on the hill and right off into the sunset are lit up by the sun, nice and bright, and it looks fantastic with the fall colors. So
Oh yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so carry on there.
Yeah. So I did do some editing here to warm up the image a bit.
Yeah.
So I did emphasize the golds and the reds more than they were actually going on. And I brightened the image. I punched the vibrance, I should say. I shouldn't say I brightened it, but I punched the vibrance a bit. The iPhone did a pretty good job with the foreground not being lit up by the sun and already being in the evening shade. I'm trying to remember when I took this, because I did, like I said, I did some editing, Lightroom Mobile on this one. And I want to say just after 6-ish. So kind of right before golden hour, if you will, or just close to it. But I just, again, and I'm becoming a bit of a sucker for the 13:9 wide shot.
Yeah. It's a good format.
Yeah. Especially for, landscape, especially when you get you have the whole hill that you can see there, and the sun was behind me at this point. So, like I said, and this is just a little deaded side road. And like I said, it was just during a run, and I looked up and I saw it, and I'm like, okay, that's a really nice. I liked the way it looked, and was able to pull the phone out and get a good picture at that time.
Yeah. The phone really did a good job with the lighting between the shaded area at the front and the glowing trees in the background, and then like the nice blue sky, not a cloud in it. It really did a good job. And I think the crop is good, even though the whole top half of the image is sky. I wouldn't want to see less of that. I like the fact that you left that all in there, and it kind of gives it that feeling of expanse, and it also proves that there wasn't a cloud in the sky, at least not in view of the image.
At least
anyway.
that part, you're right.
Yeah. Now, had you cropped it down, I would have thought, okay, well, you probably did that because there's a cloud or something just wrecking the image. But yeah, it's a nice image. Definitely great for this time of year.
Thanks, man.
So my first one is, so in town here where I live, we have a lookout tower, and when you go into this lookout tower, they close it, at night and during the off season and whatnot. There's a real tight spiral stairway that goes up. It probably goes up about 50 feet, maybe. I'm not sure how high it is, but when you're going up these steps, you got to be so careful, and you wouldn't want to be doing it with wet shoes or something, like if it was raining out, because you got to pretty much put your feet on the very outside of the step by the railing in order to get any footing, because the inside by the center pole is so tight. But I went to this lookout tower to see if it was open, and sure enough, it was. So I went up and I took some pictures of overlooking the city that I live in. It's a really nice view. But going down, I looked down at the staircase and I thought, gee, that would make a pretty interesting shot. So, the walls inside, um, there's graffiti on them, and you could see some areas where graffiti had been painted over and covered up, but those darn kids, they're persistent, and they feel the need to put graffiti on the walls. Uh, I think it gives it a little character because it
Hmm.
doesn't look to me like there's anything vulgar or nothing like that. Or if there was, I wouldn't be talking about this
Right.
image. And also, there's windows partway up this up the stairs, and looking at the bottom of the frame, you could just see part of a window
Okay,
peeking
yeah,
out
there we
behind
go.
the steps there. So it's kind of neat, getting a different perspective as you go up. So
Now,
yeah,
is
and
it
then
like 2 stories high?
um I would say that staircase goes around. I think it could be twice, maybe
Okay.
three times. I'm gonna have to go back in there and just kind of get a grip of how many how many steps there is or how high it goes up. But it's at least two, if not three.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I just don't remember. But then too, in this image, there's leaves down on the floor at the bottom, which I thought was kind of cool because it
Hmm.
gives you a sense of the time of year, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't know. And that leaf on the step in the lower left corner was not placed there. It was naturally on that step. Some people will put leaves on a rock in a river scene
Hmm.
or whatever and say, "Oh, this leaf just fell here." No, that leaf was there. I did not plant it. But it's also, a testament of what time of year this was taken.
And and like the reason I was asking about height is when you get to a spiral staircase like this. First of all, if you have vertigo, it'll throw you off.
Oh yeah.
But it's real. There's nothing here to give you kind of perspective in terms of size. So it's
Yeah, I mean,
kind of
other than the
hard to.
leaf, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah. They're in the
leaf
leaf, and the leaves down below are far enough down. It's really hard. And looks like there's some kind of clipboard halfway
that's
down.
that's a little note they've got on there saying that if there's anybody up there, wait till they come down first before going up.
Oh, okay. So definitely a narrow staircase then.
Oh
It's
yeah,
a
it's
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 one
pretty
person.
narrow.
Okay.
Yeah. And I took this with I want to say, okay, it was just the wide because it's a 1.78 aperture, and that's the
Okay.
aperture of
The
the
normal.
main of the
It's the
main
main
camera.
one. Yeah, they're calling it
Yeah.
main now. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it might have been the ultra wide, but it wasn't. It was just the main camera. So,
Okay. Yeah.
um, yeah, and not a whole lot of editing
It,
done, just a little
and
bit.
it I'll say it almost looks like a golden ratio diagram.
Yes, I was trying to think of what that was called. Dave Podner saves the day again. But yeah, it kind of reminded me of that golden ratio,
Hmm.
composition guide. On a weird angle, but yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, and the fact that not only do you get that, but you get the edge of the tread where it's kind of in the middle, where it's a little silver.
Yeah, yeah,
So you get those
from
repeating bars almost going down, where
yeah,
it's a little worn out there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They were that could be tape, maybe that was put on there so people would see the edge of the step.
Hmm.
But yeah, so yeah, I was
Definitely
coming
neat.
down. I thought that looked kind of cool, so
Oh
I
yeah,
snapped a
most
couple pictures
definitely.
of it. Yeah. So your second one is a pretty cool one that, based on what you've been posting lately, I believe this could be a wedding.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. This is actually now little unusual, but this is if you're trying to be smart with your wedding funds, which in my mind you should be.
Hmm.
You try to figure out creative ways to save money. And they had their wedding on a Thursday night.
Yeah, that's different.
That is different. And it's an old barn that they convert into like wedding slash meeting space.
Right.
So that's the actual barn itself. This was taken near the end of the night, so 8:30, 9 o'clock. It's out in the middle of, I don't want to say out in the middle of nowhere, but it's pretty far out.
Hmm.
If it wasn't for all the spotlights, like on the
Oh yeah.
side, and the spotlight they had for the parking area, I would have been able to get some really good night photography because it
Mm-hmm.
was far enough away from city lights or anything else. It was a very dark sky, except for the giant spotlights for safety.
Yeah.
I understand for
Oh yeah.
safety
Yeah.
that were kind of blinding when you looked at them. And they had the main part where but the tented area, the canvas tented area, is where the food was being served in, and it
Hmm.
was warm enough that it wasn't a problem to go out, you know,
Yeah, you can
and
see
it
the
was like
fellow in the
buffet.
center of the frame there has shorts on.
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely warm enough that it wasn't an issue at all.
Yeah.
In fact, it was getting kind of warm in the building, so
Mm.
I think I was walking out because in one thing that is, and this is a Western Pennsylvania thing, is the cookie table at weddings, where a big deal isn't necessary. The cake is, it's a big deal, of course, but a cookie table is a bigger deal.
That'd be my kind of
And
table.
yeah, and so now it's not supposed to be store bought.
Okay.
So they're not supposed to be store bought. They're supposed to be made by the family and large variety, a large amount, and enough where people have like little doggy bags to bring home
Mm,
with the
yeah.
cookies. So that was also outside.
Cool.
Um, and this one thing that I thought was really neat is this was not a night mode photo. This is a
Oh,
live
really?
photo. Yeah, this is a live photo.
That's right. It is a live photo. Yeah.
There's enough light with the spotlight on the side, which the spotlight itself is a little blown out, but the really once you get past the immediate spotlight, you can see the brick, you can see the
You can see the barn
siding,
boards
yeah, the
and
bond
yeah.
boards, you can see the details on
And
that.
you can
You
see
can
the people inside the tent too.
hmm So it actually did and I did very little. I want to say hardly any adjustment on this image.
Wow. It really did a
Hardly
good
any,
job.
yeah. And I was kind of lucky is that if you look kind of dead center of the image, right on the canvas tent part is where
Hmm.
the green glare
Oh
goblin
yeah, the
is.
lens flare. Yep.
Yep. But it's
Yeah.
kind of hidden there.
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
So yeah, so this was just a live image I took. So that I thought it's pretty impressive the fact that this turned out pretty good just for being, not a night mode.
Yeah. Yeah. It did. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better exposure, really, because
No.
everything looks so natural and so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it didn't do like an artificial looking lighting of the whole thing where
Yeah.
like
And I
there are
think that,
parts in the front where it's dark and it was very
yeah.
it was actually darker from this image because the phone does a good job, but again this looks natural. This looks
Yeah.
like it was there when I was there, which I thought was a really neat thing.
Hmm. Um, yeah, I mean, Deep Fusion did just enough. It
Hmm.
doesn't look like it did too much at all. And I'm looking at this pretty much almost full screen on my iMac, and it's not like it's pasty looking or anything like that.
No.
It's very well presented. I mean, looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that's the kind of exposure I like in a night photo. I don't like it when it kind of makes it too bright,
Right.
So that's no, that's spot on. That's really cool.
That makes sense.
All right. So my second one is a very, very, very rare photo of me.
Ah.
So let me tell you, I what inspired me to take this was two things. One, in my local camera club, I think one of the assignments that we do every month, coming up sometime in the season here, and by season I mean from September to June, is self portraits. So I thought, well, I got to get a self portrait. I might as well do it while I'm out looking at fall colors. So it's a picture of me standing. I'm at a place called Irish Mountain Lookout, and it's just up this great big hill, and then you turn off the road and come back around again, and it looks out over the road, out over the bay, towards a place called Blue Mountain. Now, Blue Mountain, up close, it looks like a mountain, but from a distance, it just looks like an elevated massive land. So look for it in my video I'm doing. You'll be able to see it. But anyway, the other thing that inspired me to do this was a shot of Dale Earnhardt Jr. I listened to his podcast, and I don't know where I saw the image. I tried to find it again to see if I can, make sure I was getting the right kind of mood in the image. It was just a picture of him standing, looking at the camera with a kind of a serious look on his face. And that's what I'm doing here. And in the photo I remember seeing of him doing it, it was like just a sepia tone. It was like a black and white with a little bit of sepia in it. I did an edit like that, but it just doesn't have the pizzazz that this one does, the colored version. So all I did for editing was brightened up the colors, livened it up a bit. It's a portrait mode image, and all I did for my face on here, looking at the image, it's the left side, but it's the right side of my face that's in the shade. It was a little too dark. So in Darkroom, now that I'm subscribing to it, I've got access to a radial mask. And I put a small radial mask on that side of my face and just brighten it up just ever so slightly, just so you could see some of the skin tone, because it just looks a little better than it did when it was pretty much all shadow. And I think it just makes it look a little better. That's the only place that I brightened anything up as far as shadow goes. Everything else is as it was. So,
and honestly, I think because you are wearing a black shirt and a black leather jacket, having the color in the background does help. Because if you made that like a sepia or even muted the colors in the back, it wouldn't pop as good.
Yeah, I think you're right there too. It's the fall colors. It's a nice orange and yellow behind me and all that stuff, and then the blue water of the bay out in the distance, and then the sky. And there's a massive, there's a bunch of trees and things in the way too. But yeah, I think you're right. It just does make it pop a little better than the sepia version did, and even a monotone black and white just didn't seem to have the interest that this does as a photograph. So I don't very often post pictures of me anywhere, but I thought, well, this one I put out there. So, and it's my new profile pic on Facebook and where else? Somewhere else.
No, it turned out good. Yeah, it turned out. Now, was this did you put it on a tripod and use the main lens?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Okay.
I think I might have used the 2X in portrait mode. I'm not sure. Let me see if I can see it in the data.
Okay.
But what I did was I was using my watch to trigger it. Okay, it's f2.8, so I think I used the 3X.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, and I use my watch to, I have it set for 3-second timer. I tapped on my face to focus and whatever. And even with the Apple Watch, you can long press to lock exposure and focus. Or you can just tap it to focus and then drag your finger up and down to brighten it or darken it. It really works well as a remote for the Apple camera app. And so yeah, that's what I did, and probably went through about half a dozen images or whatever, trying to get one that was just right. And but yeah, so the look on my face looks kind of stern or solemn or whatever, but that's
serious. It looks serious.
Yeah, but that's the look that Dale Earnhardt Jr. had on the image that I saw that inspired this whole thing in the first place. So I wish I could find that picture. I don't know where I saw it, so I can't find it again. But if I ever find it, I'll send it to you, Dave, and you can have a look at it. But yeah, that's my self portrait.
That's very cool.
So your third one is another, guess what? Autumn picture.
Which we're going to have a lot of these, I think, even maybe next week you won't have as many because it may just be past time.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, like I say, the color, like I said
Yeah.
earlier, the colors are starting to go beyond now, and they're going to be more browns and stuff now.
Hmm.
So I'll have to find something a little more interesting.
Yeah, this was on the weekend. So this was around a week ago. So we still had a good amount of green left. And this was just during a Sunday run. And I happened to notice there were a couple of canoers on the or rowers, I guess. I
Rowers,
don't think
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
canoe. Yeah, I think it's rowers. It's like a dual. It's a rowing boat, but it's
Hmm.
one of these like sport rowboats
Hmm.
where it's very shallow. It's not like a fishing rowing boat.
Yeah, like the
And
Olympic style.
exactly. And I thought the river was relatively calm, so the reflection picked up really well. That
Yeah,
you can see kind of the wake from the rowers on there.
yeah, that's cool.
And there's just a little lookout here, and this is by a new development. But I want to say I want to say I know the development is where steel mill used to be.
Okay.
So I want to say the lookout. If you look at it, the round part, eh,
Hmm.
not the concrete, but underneath the brick, that's an old brick.
Yeah, yeah, it
So I'm
is.
thinking that was something that was somehow related to the mill, and the mill got torn down 20 some years ago, late 90s. And it was on the decline since the 80s.
Hmm.
So yeah, so basically they in the town it's in Oakmont, actually a pretty nice town. Not somewhere you would expect to have a mill.
Right.
So admittedly it took a good 10 years because they had to do a lot of the industrial cleanup and the heavy metals and everything else that kind of gets left when a large steel mill gets or medium sized steel mill gets taken down. Um, but now it's all luxury housing.
Okay.
And so I was on the road, but you can see the little bit of a path underneath there where they made a little round thing into just to look out over the river.
Hmm.
And it's a really steep hill on the other side.
Yeah, yeah. It almost looks like the bottom of a mountain.
Yeah, it feels that way. And there is a road. There's actually two roads. Well, there's a regular road and there's a highway type road just on the other side. And then it kind of goes straight up, and there's people who live on
Yeah,
top of it,
yeah. Because
which
you can see the
I
hydro
don't know if I
lines.
do that.
Yeah, you can see the power lines going through the trees there, so you know there's
Hmm.
got to be a road or something there, but
Yeah,
you just can't
yeah,
even see the road.
yeah. It's relatively steep, and there are issues on that side with rock slides and such. But the colors were just peeking up here. But
Hmm.
I also liked how, like I said, the reflection in the water was just because it was just calm enough. How it just picked up the reflection really well, including some of the colors there.
Yeah, yeah, it's neat.
I want to say this was the 3x lens also,
Okay.
because I had to zoom in a good amount to actually be able to see the rowers on the river. Otherwise, they'd be a bit of a speck.
Yeah, yeah,
And of course, this is where I really want Apple to get with the telescopic zoom. That
yeah. It would be
it
nice.
it would be nice, and I'm hoping next year, especially if you could do the the zoom with the um like the 16 by 9 shot.
Hmm.
Because when you switched from 4 by 3, this is a 4 by 3, but when you switch 4 by 3 to 16 by 9, it's just cropping
Yeah. Oh,
that
yeah.
4 by 3 image into a 16 by 9, so it kind of zooms in a bit when you look at it on the camera. So to have the ability to do a bigger zoom, but to have it more of a wider, that would be interesting. That would be interesting. So,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
like I said,
Um,
it just the way that they looked on the water there, because right around them, the water is so smooth there.
yeah,
It
just
almost
like
looks like they're
glass.
yeah, it almost looks like they're rowing in the trees.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And you probably wouldn't even notice them if it wasn't for the wake,
Right.
because they are a small part of the image, but the wake just leads the eye right to them, and I really like the way it gives interest to the photo, and the colors of the trees and stuff like that. I mean, it's uh best time of year for pictures for outdoor pictures, I'd say. Yeah, so that's cool. My final one is a fall picture. Imagine that. Actually, this was taken out by that tower where those stairs are.
Okay.
So it's kind of between the parking lot and the path that goes down to the tower. And I'm I'm a real sucker for autumn photos that show the leaves on the tree and then the trunk and then all the leaves on the ground below it. And this one kind of gave me inspiration to the title of this video and this ebook that I'm going to do. It's going to be on Apple Books, just like my other one is, and it'll be free, so people will be able to just grab it and have a look at it. But the title is going to be From Canopy to Carpet, and the canopy, of course, is all the leaves on the trees, and then the carpet is the leaves on the ground. So they go from canopy to carpet. And I just thought that was kind of a catchy name to call this. And when I put the video and the book together, they're going to be in as chronological order as I can get them. I may have to mix them up just a little bit now and again throughout the book or through the video, but it's basically going to be in the order as the season progressed from the beginning of fall to whenever I finish shooting images for it. So, and what caught my eye here was the fact that the sun was shining on some of these leaves, and then it cast a shadow of the tree trunks across the ground too. So, and then the cedars in the background being green like that, I thought just added to it too.
Adds a nice, especially the not necessarily the leaves on the tree, but the leaves on the ground matching up with the green.
Yeah, they kind of complement each other.
It's almost like a carpet and a wall hitting each other.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way, but yeah, you're right. Yeah. So, my favorite time of year by far.
Oh yeah.
All right. So, I guess that's it, Dave. I guess we got ourselves a show.
Sounds good.
So tell everybody where they could find you and your time-lapse video.
Yep. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram as ProfPod. Vero, I think I'm also can be searched by ProfPod. Or also just David Podner. Yeah, to ProfPod on Vero, just double checked. And on Facebook as Dave Podner Jr.
All righty. You can find me on Twitter at McMillan_photo, on Vero, just with my last name, McMillan, on Glass with my first name, Greg. And you look for both Dave and I in the iPhoneography Podcast Facebook group, the Bloody Legends group with Shane Mostyn on Facebook. And I'm not sure if there's any other groups that we're in common, but
See, I know you're on Shane's thing very frequent now. His Friday afternoon at 3 p.m.
Yes, I'm actually a co-host with him now. So look for that Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube, on his YouTube channel. There's a link in the show notes for that. And we are going to have a guest on from, I believe he's from Argentina. He took a photo of a waterfall at night with the Milky Way in behind with a phone. And it is just mind-boggling. I can't wait to hear his story about how he captured this image. It's just really, really something else. If you're not in Shane Mostyn's mobile photography group on Facebook, like I say, there'll be a link in the show notes to it, and that and his YouTube channel. Go and join the group. You got to answer a few questions to get in. I'm a moderator. I can approve them, but make sure you answer them. If you don't answer them, you won't get in. Then you can check out this photo, but it's on the YouTube thumbnail right now as well. So if you go to his YouTube channel, you'll be able to see a post for the upcoming stream, and it's live. You can join in the conversation on YouTube in the comment section or in the Facebook group. I think he actually broadcasts to 2 different Facebook groups, so I'm not sure. But I always have the YouTube thing open so that I can comment, if I don't say a response. Excuse me. Or that's my throat. That's not the microphone. But yeah, it's always a blast. It's always fun. People cutting up in the chat room and things like that. Sometimes there's conversations going on completely separate to what we're talking about, but it's always a good time. So check that out on this Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Depending on where you are in the world, for Shane, I believe it's 6 a.m. for him Saturday morning. So it's just gives you an idea of the time difference. But yeah, so. Well, Dave, thanks for saving my bacon again earlier tonight with the reminding me to hit the record button.
Hit the record button, yep.
Yeah. And I guess we'll see you on the next one.
Have a great one, everyone.